Streamberg docs.
In late July 2026, Chinese ships appeared in the waters east of Taiwan for the first time. Not warships, Coast Guard vessels. That small detail is why this story matters. This is the quarantine. Beijing's plan to take control of Taiwan without an invasion, without a blockade, without a single shot. Just patrol boats, paperwork, and patience. Taiwan, an island of 23 million people, 180 kilometers off China's coast. A democracy that Beijing calls a breakaway province and the source of the world's most advanced chips. Here's Taiwan's problem. Roughly 97% of its energy arrives by ship. Its natural gas reserves last about 11 days. An island this modern has never been this dependent. Nearly everything Taiwan needs comes through a handful of ports, Kaohsiung above all. Food, fuel, medicine, raw materials. Close the sea lanes, and the island starts counting backwards. So why not simply invade? Because an amphibious assault across the strait would be the largest since World War II, and would almost certainly pull the United States into the war. And a blockade? Under international law, a blockade is an act of war. Warships stopping ships means shots get fired. Shots get fired means America gets a reason to respond. A quarantine is different. It is not run by the Navy, but by the Coast Guard. Not soldiers. Police. Not war. Law enforcement. The same squeeze, wrapped in entirely different paperwork. The core of the plan is a customs form. Ships bound for Taiwan would be told to declare their cargo to Chinese customs first. Sign the form, and you accept who's in charge. China's Coast Guard is the largest on Earth, with cutters bigger than destroyers. And it answers to the Central Military Commission, a police force on paper, a second navy in practice. This has been rehearsed. In December 2025, exercises simulated a full encirclement of Taiwan, the largest since 2022. Ports targeted, airspace controlled, outside forces held beyond the island chain. Then came the summer of 2026. Chinese patrols shifted east of Taiwan, the island's back door, in quick succession, not announced as strategy, announced as maritime law enforcement operations. Taiwan has played this scenario out. In government exercises, Chinese Coast Guard ships board, inspect, and detain vessels heading to Taiwanese ports. Trade disrupted, supply lines squeezed, without one missile launched. So how would it actually begin? Quietly. Beijing announces an enhanced inspection zone around Taiwan, citing smuggling or safety. No ultimatum, no deadline, just a notice to mariners. Day 3. A container ship is stopped, boarded, inspected for 6 hours, then released unharmed. No shots, no injuries, just a message to every shipping company on Earth. You could be next. Then the real weapon fires. Insurance. War risk premiums explode overnight, exactly as they did around Hormuz. Ship owners don't wait for governments. They reroute. The market does the strangling. Commercial shipping lines answer to shareholders, not presidents. Faced with boardings, delays, and uninsurable routes, they suspend Taiwan calls one by one. Nobody ordered them to. Nobody had to. Now the countdown starts. Fewer tankers means the gas reserves begin to drain. 11 days of storage. Rolling blackouts within weeks. The chip factories the whole world depends on. Dimming. And what exactly does America respond to? Escorting convoys means U.S. warships confronting Coast Guard cutters. Sailors shooting at police. Washington would have to fire the first shot of the war. That is the elegance of the trap. Every countermeasure looks like escalation by Taipei or Washington. Beijing inspects paperwork. America sends carriers. Guess who looks reckless on the evening news? Allies would argue about definitions while the clock runs. Is this war? A customs dispute? Sanctions take weeks to agree. Ambiguity is not a side effect of the plan. It is the plan. There is a historical example. In 1948, the Soviets sealed off West Berlin, and an airlift kept the city alive. But you cannot airlift liquefied natural gas to 23 million people, and the word itself has history. In 1962, Kennedy called his blockade of Cuba a quarantine, chosen precisely because a blockade meant war. Beijing has read that playbook very carefully. Taiwan is not standing still. Bigger stockpiles, drone surveillance, escort plans, hardened communications with commercial shipping, and a strategy of its own. Document every violation and make the world watch. 26 war games at one American think tank reached the same verdict. China could inflict severe hardship, especially on energy. But a quarantine is not a cheap or safe option for Beijing, because the strangler gets strangled too. China buys Taiwanese chips. A crisis would shake global markets Beijing depends on, invite sanctions, and prove to every neighbor exactly what China is. So watch for 3 signals. Chinese customs demanding declarations from Taiwan-bound ships, Eastern patrols becoming permanent, and an announced inspection zone. Any one of them means the quarantine has begun. The question was never whether China could take Taiwan by force. The question is whether anyone would stop them from taking it with a stamp, a form, and a patrol boat. And so far, nobody has an answer.